Thanks to the supporters of channel member Igor Freitas. Well, this season all got a little bit carried away, didn't it? We came into it hoping to get into the playoffs, and here we are, almost at the end of the season. Title deciding match against the team in second place below us in the league, and an FA Cup semi-final at Wembley against Chelsea. It could continue to get even more absurd yet. Hello and welcome to Club 2, Part 10 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have that effective title decider at home against Burnley in the league, plus the FA Cup semi-final. Dare we dream that we could win the FA Cup from the Championship? That would be quite the achievement. Since you were last with me, our excellent form has continued. We still haven't lost a game in 2029, and we've did draw our most recent one against rivals-ish Birmingham, which hopefully that's not the end of the spectacular winning streak that we were on. Birmingham are down in the relegation zone, so it was a bit of a disappointing one. But the league table still looks like this, with 3 points clear with 4 games to go and a game in hand and a better goal difference. If we beat Burnley here, we go 6 points clear of them, 8 points clear of Wolves with 3 games left, better goal differences than both. We're as good as in the Premier League, as good as champions, and then we just need to go and win the FA Cup, don't we? It'll be fine. We could don't look at that. It'll be fine. This is the team for the game against Burnley. It's Woodman in goal because Travers, I think in the last episode he dislocated his shoulder. If it wasn't in the last episode, it was shortly after, making it very, very, very important that we brought Woodman in when we did. So Woodman continues in goal. He's been excellent since coming in. I'm not sure that Travers necessarily pushes him straight back out of the team again. We shall see. So Woodman in goal, a back four of Amrouche, Gozzi, De Winter and Donnelly. That's almost been an ever-present back four. They're all brilliant. Certainly money well spent. I mean, it is like 40 or 50 million pounds worth of defender there, probably. How much did we pay for Amrouche? Amrouche was 10 million. Gozzi, I think, was a little less. Gozzi was 3.6 and 22 for De Winter and like 2 for Donnelly, plus another 3 for Woodman. This is a team that should be in the Premier League spending this kind of money. We then got Eccles at the base of the midfield with Keating and Osborne ahead of him, and then Scarlett up front supported by Undala and Aguier. For the first time in a long while, this is pretty much our full strength side, which £10 million Joe Bellingham not even on the bench for it. And that's about right. The guys we brought in January, we're not really using. Our Blaster is there on the bench as well. Yeah, I mean, Undala, I guess we brought in January. The thing is, we'd already started our winning streak when we did the transfers and we didn't really need anybody. What I was worried about was the lack of strength in depth. So we brought in players for positions where we needed a bit more strength in depth. So that was the logic behind it. It's just occurred to me, of course, with us having a game in hand and playing Burnley now, we'll still have a game in hand over them after this. So if we beat them, we'd actually be 6 points clear of them, with them having 2 games remaining and us having a better goal difference. So we're pretty much guaranteed to finish above them, which means we'd be pretty much guaranteed promotion. Wolves could theoretically still catch us for the title, but we'd have at least second place nailed down with a win here. So a win here becoming even more important than it already was, because I've just realised Burnley play when they play us, just like we play when we play them. That hadn't really occurred to me. Look at that for a save from Woodman. What an important signing he's ended up being. With this 2 or 3 month injury to Travers, if we hadn't have brought in a Premier League quality goalkeeper as backup, who knows how this season would be different. It's another fantastic save from Woodman. Goodness me. Burnley are piling on the pressure, but Woodman is equal to it so far. It's going to be another Burnley corner, and this time it's headed clear-ish by Scarlett. It's back in the mix, but Woodman is there to collect. Excellent work from him. Right, now let's go up the other end and do a goal. Burnley have had all of the attacks so far. Half an hour in, we'd quite like to have an attack of our own. It's Eccles with the corner, the outswinger, the rare outswinger, and unfortunately about as effective as the outswinger usually is. Eccles plays it across to Boateng and he scores. It's an 11th goal of the season for him, and we do go 1-0 up. Lovely, lovely, lovely. The league table is going to look beautiful after that. I need to go and have a look at it. I was about to tell you the story of the corner kicks, then we went and did a goal. So we'll just watch the highlight of the goal, the replay of the goal, then look at the league table. Then I'll get back to explaining why we do the outswinger, even though it's rubbish, and we know it's rubbish, although we did kind of score from it. It was the second phase of play after it. Look at that league table. But it's to try and reduce the potency of the other corners. I can't, in good conscience, in non-league to legend, not do any corners to the near post. But I try and balance it enough with outswingers and far post corners, and I think we occasionally have a short corner on there as well, and basically make it so that we're not doing the overpowered corner every time. Trying to balance it so that our best players from set pieces score roughly the right amount of goals. I reckon 5 goals from Gozzi from centre back feels about right. So I think I've got the balance on the split of the set pieces about right for it to still seem realistic. I know it's kind of anti non-league to legend to do that, and I should be doing everything I can to perform as well as possible, but it does get a little bit ridiculous when you have a centre-back getting 20 plus goals every season. So I think by adding some other variations of corner into the mix, we still have the threat of, if we do the right corner, there's a good chance we're going to score, but it's not going to happen every single match. And I think that's probably roughly where things should be on the corners. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Meanwhile, we're doing one of our longish throws. We find De Winter and it's back with Eccles. Eccles gives the ball away, but luckily Burnley left nobody forward. Although Eleftherides, who was recalled from his loan in January, he's a young, I think 20-year-old young left back who was at the club when I arrived. We sold a couple of players who can play in his position, mainly to bring him back and get him back involved in the squad again. He was the only man back and didn't really deal with it properly, but Bonner's got back to join in with the defending there from centre forward. It remains 1-0, but Burnley continue to look dangerous, and obviously we dropped points against Birmingham in our last game, so we're no longer the all-conquering win every match team that we have been for most of this calendar year. Although there's the ball into Boateng again. I think he's tried to be fancy there when he should have just hit it hard and done a second goal. A little bit frustrated that we've not scored there. It's Eleftherides again at left back. Shall we show you him? Because you've not really seen much of him. Georgios Eleftherides, English under-20 international. Came through at Chelsea, went to Southend. Coventry then bought him off of Southend. I didn't really use him last year. He was out on loan at Bolton, looked pretty good in League One, so we brought him back in to be our rotation option at left back behind Amrouche, and he's pretty useful. It meant that it was one of the reasons we were able to go and waste money on the likes of Bellingham in January, because we sold 2 left backs and didn't have to spend money to replace either of them because we just brought him back from his loan. And Bonner has finally added to his goals for the season. I think all 4 of his goals he scored this season have been in front of you lot. He doesn't perform at all when the cameras aren't here, but he does like to show off for you lot, so that you can demand in the comments section that he gets more opportunity. My counter to that is just going to be a photograph of Dane Scarlett and a look at the fact that he's the top scorer in the Championship. So I think I'm still right. I'm always right. Right, Osborne's going to come off. Redoni comes on for him. And then for the final change, Undala can come off. Club captain Ephron Mason-Clark can come on. He must know at this point that he is not going to be with us next year. We're almost certainly going to be in the Premier League. At 30 years old, he is not going to be stepping up into the Premier League. So we'll be looking to move him on in the summer, promote Joey Keating to club captain. And we've then got Undala, we've got Boateng, we've got Illing, we've got plenty of options for wide players that don't involve Ephron Mason-Clark. So as much as I love him as a Peterborough fan, his time is coming to an end. But we have a corner, an opportunity to really rubber stamp our promotion to the Premier League. Bree hit, I mean, I don't know why our right back Bree was getting on the end of that, but he heads it into the crossbar, and Burnley scrabbling to try and get it clear. But once again, even though they're 2-0 down and presumably chasing goals, they didn't leave anybody forward again. Look at the state of these match stats. We're so much better than Burnley. We're 6 points clear of them. We're 9 points clear of Wolves. We are all but there. And in fact, we'll probably get promoted at the weekend when we're playing Chelsea and everyone else, I think, is playing at the weekend. So Wolves are away against Bristol City, and Burnley. Where are Burnley? Burnley are not playing because I guess they played us now. Right, Gozzi's tired. We talked about this in the last episode, how I'd been trying to keep him fit and I'd been doing okay. But now he's tired. But I think we just keep him around for Chelsea and then he can go on holiday. He can just end his season early and have the last 3 matches of the season on holiday. Normally, as soon as I get that message, I would send a player on holiday. But I think with Chelsea 3 days away, everyone gets a couple of days rest. Gozzi doesn't get to go on his holiday yet. And now we're off to Wembley. Can we do the unthinkable, beat Chelsea and get to the FA Cup final from the Championship? Okay, Mark Travers is done. That's probably the end of his Coventry career. Because, I mean, look at the state of his year. He was nailed on starter. Even Woodman coming in didn't displace him, but he's dislocated his shoulder. You've seen in the last match how Woodman's performed while Travers has been injured. And then in one of his first games back, playing against the Leicester under-21s, he's broken his wrist, which is problematic for a goalkeeper. So that's him out for the season now. Woodman remains as our goalkeeper. And I think Travers is done. Woodman may get the opportunity to be our Premier League goalkeeper next year. To be honest, we'll probably, if we get the right budgets, try and sign someone better and Woodman can be the backup. Travers is finished. It's a shame when that happens. Well, we didn't win promotion while everyone else was playing because they both won. Or Burnley didn't win. Burnley had already played us, but Wolves beat Bristol City 4-3, which means with 2 games remaining for each of them, they are 6 points behind with a worse goal difference. We've still got 3 to play. Like I say, we're as good as there, but it's not going to be mathematically rubber stamped today. All of which brings us to the Chelsea game. We are, of course, putting out an unchanged team. You saw how well we played in that last match. Chelsea are 10th in the Premier League. So not having the best of seasons, it is worth bearing in mind. We've already knocked out Forest and Brighton and Luton, but they've already been relegated. But Forest, who are looking good for the Champions League, Brighton, who should be getting into Europe as well, both of them finishing well above Chelsea. We've already knocked both of those out. So it's not completely unheard of and unrealistic for us to beat Chelsea here. We're a team in incredible form, cruising towards the Premier League for next season. Chelsea are a team who have been struggling. We have a chance. Obviously, Chelsea still very strong favourites, but we have a chance. The North London derby was the other semi-final. That took place yesterday. Spurs beating Arsenal. So we are setting ourselves up with a win here. With the unlikely win here, we set ourselves up for an FA Cup final against Spurs, where Dane Scarlett would get to show them what they could have won if they'd have kept hold of him. So that'll be quite an interesting thing as well. I fully expect to lose this match. I think our run that we've been on in the FA Cup, a lot of it is benefiting from that whole reputation thing that Football Manager does, where if you're on a much lower reputation, the AI rotates against you, and we can beat rotated Premier League 11s. I'm not sure that Chelsea have put out a rotated 11 here today, though. I can see Lavia, Fofana, Chalobah, Sancho, and Nkunku. Enzo, Caicedo, I think this is Reece James. This is a Chelsea first team, presumably because it's an FA Cup semi-final. So all of that normal rotating stuff goes out the window. They are trying to get to the FA Cup final and they've put out their best players to do it. So I don't expect us to win, but stranger things have happened and we haven't lost a football match this year. So we are a team in form, and Woodman had that covered. He had that covered all day long, and it remains 0-0. 15, 20 minutes gone. Chelsea are all over us, but we haven't conceded just yet. Good work from Amrouche there to intercept, and then an interesting version of trying to clear the ball, and they're just knocking the ball around us very comfortably. We are second to everything here. We're clearly playing against a team who are a level above us. That's offside, though, I think. It looked offside to me. Referee? Are we ruling that one out? We should be, really. Looked a lot offside. See. I mean, he was offside there initially, I think. I think he's offside twice as part of that move. Do we get to see the line? I'd like to see the line, please. No? No line. I think he's offside twice as part of that move. What do I know? I'm just a handsome entertainer. Right, I don't really know what we do anymore when we go 1-0 down. I mentioned a few episodes ago that I hadn't played the game for like 3 weeks because I recorded a load of stuff in advance. It's probably nearly a month at this point since we were behind in a football match. I don't know what we do. Do we go attacking straight away? What are the rules? How do you play Football Manager? I'm so used to just winning every match now. I don't really understand this being behind in a football match thing. Boateng has picked up a knock, so Illing's going to come on at half-time, and I guess we are going to have to go attacking. The option would be there to throw another attacker on. The only problem is the attacker that we'd want to throw on in that situation would be Joe Bellingham, and he's cup-tied. So we don't really have that option. Who was supposed to be injured? Neither of them look injured. Illing's sat there ready to come on. But I think we stay as is for now, because whoever was injured seems to be better. We'll offer some encouragement. Right, it is Boateng who's injured. Right, so now we can just make that change. Now we can see who's actually injured. It didn't show us on the other screen. That was weird. But Illing comes on the right-hand side. We have gone attacking, and now we have a free kick. It's only 1-0 to Chelsea at the moment, and they do seem to have taken their foot off the gas since scoring that goal. So the door is still slightly ajar for us to come back to Wembley in a few weeks' time for the final. Donnelly has scored from absolutely nowhere. The teenager who this time last year was playing for Salford has just toe-poked one in from the edge of the area, completely against the run of play. I mean, he's in so much space, but it's not even a particularly impressive looking shot. It's terrible goalkeeping, and it's 1-1, and it's game on. We drop back to our positive mentality. Amrouche is tired now. So I think we're probably going to have... Oh, we've got a lot of players who are tired. Goodness me. Right, Amrouche comes off for Boniface because Elefthioridis is cup-tied. So Boniface, who is on the transfer list, he wants to leave, is going to have to come on. Oh, we're going to have to make a lot of changes here. We've got some tired legs. Mason Clark's going to come on. Oh, goodness me. Have we got anyone to come on in midfield? Irogbenum can come on for Osborne. That is all our substitutions done, and we've still got some tired legs on the pitch. Playing Burnley midweek was not the ideal preparation, even with resting everybody for 2 days. Right, Illing plays it into Osborne. Last touch for him. He's about to be substituted. Shoots from range. He, of course, if we got to the final, wouldn't be able to play in it because he's on loan from Spurs. So this is his big day out at Wembley today. But that was his final contribution, blasting the ball over the bar from miles out. It remains 1-1. 10 minutes to go. Everybody is dead on their feet, but Illing is charging down the right-hand side, trying to create something. Illing pokes it. I mean, he's seen Donnelly do the toe poke and gone for it himself. It doesn't work out for Illing, but it has got us a corner, and you know we can be dangerous from corners. Turn those outswingers and short corners off. Just get this in at the near post. Irogbenum does exactly that, but Colwill heads clear for Chelsea, and we've done a tactical foul there. Chelsea have only had one shot on target in this entire match. For all them being all over us in the first 20 minutes, half hour or so, they scored and then just stopped, and they haven't started again since we scored. We deserve this, but I mean, they're going to be fitter. He says, Colwill's there carrying a knock, but you would still expect Chelsea to be the ultimate winners at this point, but we're into the 91st minute. We've pushed them all the way. It all bodes well for us being in the Premier League next year. But offside, ref? I mean, the previous one was offside as well. Can we have that one disallowed? This is controversial. If we get knocked out by 2 controversial goals, I'll be up. Oh, I don't need to be upset. That makes up for the one in the first half, because I think the Nkunku one looked more offside than this one. I mean, that one's marginal, but he is off. And it remains 1-1. Look at the match stats, boys and girls. We deserve to get to the FA Cup final, and we can now make one more substitution, I think, if I understand the FA Cup rules right. Who have we got on the bench? I mean, Gozzi was shattered after the last game. It's got to be him who comes off. McKellar comes on for him. And he probably didn't want to have to do 90 minutes today. I probably should have been a little bit more alert to that when we made all our substitutions earlier in the game, that he is the man who was shattered. Chelsea have now made a bunch of substitutions as well, so they're going to be a little bit freshened up. And nobody's really doing anything now, and it's going to be João Felix with a free kick, and it just top of the net. Never any worry at all. And we're into the second half of extra time, and it's a corner. It's Irogbenum into the far post. De Winter's there, and he scores! That's what a £22.5 million defender can get you in an FA Cup semi-final, boys and girls. It's only the second time this season he's scored a goal. We don't normally aim at him. We normally aim at Gozzi. Gozzi goes off. De Winter is there. It's far post. There's no shenanigans. That's a far post corner. And we are 2-1 up against Chelsea in the FA Cup semi-final. We are seconds away from an FA Cup final as a championship team, which is ridiculous and something I'm fairly confident I've never done before on Football Manager. This entire save is a save of firsts. We had our first tycoon. We could have our first... I'm going to go and sit in the garden for a bit. I was doing the victory speech. They've come up the other end and equalised immediately, unless the ref is going to bail me out again here. Referee? Look, Nkunku was offside twice as part of the first one, so I think it's fair that we then get 2 go our way. That one's more offside than the one before. I don't know why we didn't get the lines for the Nkunku one early on, but hopefully that was Chelsea's last effort, and we are going to the FA Cup final, boys and girls. That is bonkers. Coventry City, off of the Championship, have an FA Cup final against Tottenham. Yes, Gozzi's still shut. Right, when's the FA Cup final? Yeah, he's got time to go on holiday, so we will now send him on holiday, and we'll get him back in time for the cup final, because we don't need him for the league now, but he can go and have 2 weeks in the sun and come back for the cup final, if I've done my maths right there. We praised De Winter because his goal was crucial, and there we have it, boys and girls. That will be the next episode. We'll try and do it so I can show you a title decider, like the trophy lift, which should theoretically be against Leicester, you would think. So we'll probably do Leicester and then Tottenham, so we can have 2 trophy lifts in one episode. Wouldn't that be a thing? If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.